Hey, welcome to Four Deep Sports Talk. Good afternoon. I always say good morning. Jim Sylvia, I'm Dominic Damiano. This weekend we have the privilege of having the Taunton wrestling team in. Well, not all of them, but we'll get those names out there. And we'll have the coach and the players introduce themselves in names and what year they're in, what year they're in high school. And then we'll have the coach give us a little rundown of his history, coaching high school wrestling. So, Coach, if you don't mind just introducing yourself and...
I'm Adilson Galveo. I'm the head wrestling coach at Taunton High School. I've been coaching at Taunton High since 2010, and I've been the head coach since 2013.
Awesome. All right, guys.
I'm Will Buffington. I'm a class of 2026 wrestler. I graduated this year, and I'm going to Springfield College next year to wrestle.
Awesome.
My name's Joel Quinones. I'm a sophomore. I'm going into my sophomore year of high school. I've been wrestling for 3 years now.
Awesome. Now, Jim Silver's with us as well. As I got to adjust my audio. So that's the part I was telling you, but I don't want to mess that up. So, Coach, did you wrestle in high school?
Yeah, I wrestled for 4 years in high school, so freshman year to senior.
And what high school did you wrestle at?
At Taunton High School.
Oh, did you do any college?
No.
Nope.
No, I went to UMass Dartmouth. They didn't have a wrestling team, so that's why I got into coaching, because I still had the itch, and I drove to school, so it was easy enough to get back and forth.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Now, did you do any club? I know we kind of touched on club a little bit out in the lobby.
No. So when I wrestled in high school, club wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
Yeah.
So I really didn't understand what off-season wrestling or club wrestling was until I graduated, and it was like a couple of years after I graduated.
And what year did you graduate Taunton High?
2009.
Oh, yeah, you do look as young as you look. And so you guys, well, congratulations, state champion. We'll talk about that. I know I was, he was trying, so Will also umpires baseball for ABUA. And
baseball and wrestling.
Baseball and wrestling. And
that's a good combination.
And a football player.
And a football player.
And we were like passing between games, and he said he was into coming on, and that'd be cool. And then he humbly, in his own, just like his family is, he's very a humble kid, and he's like, well, I did win the state championship, and I was wrestling over my weight, right? Wasn't it over your weight? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I was a little underweight this year, but I still performed pretty well. But
I guess so. You won the state title.
Yeah.
So you see how humble he is. His brothers are the same way. So is his whole family. It's pretty cool.
What weight class were you in?
So I wrestled like 215, but last year I was a 175, but I was cutting a lot of weight, and I was really like dehydrated, I would say, so I didn't wrestle as good as I thought I could. So this year, like, me and my coaches were like, I don't think we should, like, we could cut to 190 if we wanted to, or we could stay at 215. I probably weighed like 215 during the beginning of the season, but then during like the middle of the season, towards the end of the season, I was weighing like 195, 197, so I was still like 15-ish pounds underweight. But yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Going on the weight field, you lose a little strength, or?
So I would say like I was fine. I feel like when I went 175, I felt like weak and I couldn't wrestle as well. And this year, like a big thing for me is I was more athletic than a lot of the bigger 215s, because I've played 3 sports my whole life. Like I wrestled for 5 years, so like I just felt more athletic. I can move better, and even if I was a little less strong than them this year, I could just like out stamina them. I felt like I had a lot of stamina, especially there's 3 periods in wrestling. Going the 3rd period is probably my best period, because I just had the conditioning, and I was like a lot more conditioned than everyone else.
What drew you guys to wrestling?
So when I was in 8th grade, I joined the football team, and even playing football, my mom was a little concerned because she didn't really want me to get injured. And then at the time, my linebacker coach was also the assistant wrestling coach, Coach Vic, and he kind of like persuaded me to join the wrestling team, and ever since then I've loved it.
Awesome.
My cousin was like, we were at Burger King, and he was like, yo, what are you doing when you get into high school? And I was like, I'm gonna go play basketball. And he was like, you should try wrestling. I was like, I don't know. I thought wrestling was WWE at first. So I was like, I don't know. I'll think about it. And then he like started showing me stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. And he was like, I mean, if you don't like it, you still have 3 more years to do like something else. So I got into wrestling, and then I started wrestling, and I liked it a lot. So I was like, I'm gonna stick with this.
Well, that's good because guys your age, to try something new
Yeah.
is to me unusual. I mean, when you're kids, you get into baseball, you get into other sports, football, basketball, whatever. Not a lot of people go into wrestling, and to put yourself out there and give it a shot. I think that's fantastic.
It's funny. His story was so down to earth. Well, I met him at Burger King.
That's not a good wrestling nutrition program, right, Coach?
No, not really. But when it's not in season, they eat whatever they want. So it's kind of funny how we're so disciplined during the season, but off season, like it's McDonald's and Burger King or whatever you can get. So
the only wrestling story I have is the coach over at Bristol Plymouth. He's a Hall of Famer. His name slips.
Bob Gay.
Bob Gay. Yeah. So I was coaching the freshman team. I did it for like 10 years. And Bob Gay walks on the field, and he's talking, hey, how's it going? I'm like, who the heck is this clown talking to my guy? Oh, hey, Dom, hey, Coach Dom, I'm just letting you know I'm Bob Gay. I'm the wrestling coach over here.
He's there recruiting.
He's recruiting. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about, you know what I mean? Or when what Buff was talking about. And he says, yeah, I just want to see. I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle of practice. I mean, we're going to take a water break in about 50. But he was really, really, really nice guy. Then I look him up. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Mass Hall of Famer wrestling coach. But I thought it was so cool. So what weight class are you in?
I'm a weight class of 106.
So you could probably take me down then, right?
I don't know about that one.
No, what is that his normal weight class right around there, Coach? And how do you break that down if you can educate us on that?
At the beginning of the season, we do like weight certifications. So based off of how much you weigh and how much body fat you have,
yeah.
We kind of determine with the kids and their parents what the best weight class is for those kids. So most kids, like, if they're going to wrestle 120, they're probably the most they'll weigh at that probably is like 130, 135, and then they'll just cut the weight before the first or second competition is usually what happens.
Now, how do you, because I take Manjaro, so how do you get the weight with the high school kids?
So for us, it's our sport is very tough and our practice is very tough, so a lot of it you just sweat it out. So you just kind of go on a small diet, and then a lot of it's water weight. People just carry water around all year round. They just don't really think about it. And then just going on a nice diet. And then we cut probably, the bigger kids cut like 5 to 10 pounds of practice.
Yep.
The smaller kids maybe cut 2 or 3, and you just kind of
go from there.
Yeah, go from there and just cut it.
I tried to do that at Taunton Pop one of like 20 years ago, and this kid walked out, and he was like really close. And then the last day away, and he walked out with spaghetti sauce in his face. I said, so I guess you don't want to make weight.
Yeah, no. We've had a kid eat like a peanut butter jelly sandwich in the back of the bus before we even got to the school to weigh in. So
yep.
We've seen all that. The kids eating when they're not supposed to.
So the weigh-ins are at the meets.
Yeah, the day of the meets.
On site. And,
yeah.
And who monitors that?
It's the coach. The coaches. So like, if it's if it's like Taunton versus Attleboro, both coaches will be there at the weigh-ins. If it's at a state tournament or at a tournament, it's usually like the whole school would do it with like another coach.
So do you have? You might have already said this, and please forgive my ignorance. Do you have a weigh-in before the season starts? The whole conference?
No, it's just we just do weight certification, so that doesn't really matter.
Okay.
It's just more for we have paperwork that says you've weighed in, you've made a certification for your lowest weight
It's the
class.
day of the meet.
No, that happens usually like
that's what I mean.
3 or 4. The first weigh-ins happens
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 days before the first competition, depending on what school you go to.
And that now, how's it? And that's policed by the coaches,
Yeah, the coaches, and the ADs, and then the principals.
and they're going to sign a waiver. This is da 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 da. This is real.
Yeah.
Now, when do the parents start freaking out about this kid going against someone? Like I could see. Well, Bus, he won the state title, so he's definitely mechanically sound for the sport. And he's taken. How much higher were these guys in his weight class that he had to beat?
So he was walking around 195, 200, so they had 15, 20 pounds on him.
20 pounds on
depending
him?
how much he weighed for the day.
Really?
The bigger you are, the more weight there is in between.
Yeah.
So, like, the highest weight class is 285 pounds. And we've had kids that weighed 220, 225 pounds, wrestle a kid that's 285 pounds.
So,
Oh, wow.
so you just said the weigh-ins are done at the meets and it's monitored by coaches and ADs and stuff like that. When does the MIAA get involved in that? Just like when it's a state tournament?
The MIAA is involved in the beginning when we do our first weight certifications. They have a portal we have to enter in all the information. So we give it to all the states. We tell the state this is the lowest our guys can go in. And then every week when you have a match, you have to put in all your information of everyone's weight class, and you have to make, it's called a 50% threshold. So you have to make your weight class 50% of the dates that you wrestle.
Okay. That's right. I told you we can ask you a couple of questions. I know nothing. I know besides if, Hulk Hogan's fighting Bob Backlund for the world title, but that's a whole different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know, talking to my buddy Matt Quimby, I mean, there's some serious technique and mechanics involved, and if you don't know, you can either get hurt or you can embarrass somebody really good, right? And I'm just impressed, totally impressed. I mean, it's a lot more structured than I thought,
Yeah, it's a very well disciplined sport, obviously. I know, like you said, you played football, and how does that help your wrestling?
So I would say it was more wrestling helping my football, really. It teaches me like a lot of balance and like just like getting lower and like using my athleticism compared to like, because I'm on the line. I played center this year, and I was probably like 220 during football season. And center, you're on the nose guards, and those nose guards are big.
Yeah.
So you gotta like really get low and like use your momentum and good footwork and stuff.
Or leverage, right?
Yep. So that's another like a big thing. I think wrestling really helped my football.
And where are you going to college?
I'm going to Springfield College.
Springfield, and
I'm wrestling.
Wrestling. Mm-hmm. You're not going to play any other sport.
No.
In college.
Yep.
Are you on a scholarship or?
So it's Division III, so they help with like merit and stuff. They can't give me athletic money, but they're helping with like merit and other like financial aid.
Good. That's awesome.
That's good. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take our first break. If you want to call in when we get back, 508, I should have said this before, 508-222-1320. Jim and I were highlighting the Taunton High School wrestling team on this beautiful Saturday. Again, call in 508-222-1320. We'll be back with them and more right after this. Hey, welcome back to 4 Deep Sports Talk. You can call in 508-222-1320. Jim Sylvia, I'm Dominic Damiano. And we want to give a quick shout out to our intern, good luck, Jacob Janicki, as he heads back to Franklin Pierce. Finishes actually his last show with the girls over at Taunton High School that came in, and then he did some editing. Good luck to Jake. He's thinking about coming back next semester, or when he's out of school, to continue his internship. But yeah, want to call in 508-222-1320, and you're a sophomore, right?
Yes, I am.
So what are you doing to stay? I mean, he looks like he has a good metabolism. It's really, maybe more losing weight, if anything, right? You said you're $165?
Yeah.
All right. I just thought I'd ask him. I want to make sure. What have you learned? Did you your freshman year too?
Yeah.
What have you learned from the transition from freshman to sophomore year as far as competition goes?
Honestly, I feel like the biggest difference was when I versed higher skilled people, it was noticeable that they were way better than me, and I had to work harder to get where they were.
And what stood out about that? Like just
Is that's kind of like everything when you're a freshman in high school, right?
Yeah.
New building, new experience, new friends, and you got to work your way in. But it sounds like you adjusted well, and
Yeah.
this year could be a big year for you on the map.
Yeah, hopefully it is.
So what did they do though? So I guess my question is, and I should have said it a little bit better than I did, was what was it from freshman to sophomore that stood out that you could tell these kids were, like you said, were a little bit more better than you said, right?
Yeah.
What was it? Was it
Honestly, I feel like it was skill, and I like the top guys, they were really good. Like you could tell that they were putting in work and they have been wrestling like their whole life. And I felt like I was since like I haven't been wrestling my whole life, I'm a little behind and everyone else was ahead.
Okay.
Like I said, like everything else in high school, you got to make that adjustment from 8th grade to going in as a freshman, and everything's new to you and stuff. But it sounds like you've adjusted pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, what's the biggest thing to teach these younger kids to get ready for, this? I mean, you play out of one of the toughest conferences in the state.
Yeah, it's the mindset. So you got to have the right mindset to wrestle, because I could teach anyone to wrestle, but when you're in a match, it's you against that other person. You got to have the right mindset. So you'll see it a lot where like the younger kids, they'll come in and they'll be good wrestlers at practice, but then when they go into a match, they have the wrong mindset. And if you don't have that right mindset, you'll see, again, kind of with the better kids, you'll see it. They're just ready to go. They're dogs. They're on top of their opponent the whole match, and they're trying to win the match like fast as possible.
Well, like there's a certain discipline to it, like any other sport. But wrestling, like you said, is an individual sport. You're out there by yourself. Nobody's going to help you, and you have to develop a certain mindset and a certain aggression, I would think, to excel at wrestling.
There is like you got to have kind of like an alter ego when you're on the mat. Will's
Kind of like they do in WWE.
yeah. Will's probably a great example.
I'm kidding about the WWE. He was just joking,
Will's probably a great example, because off the mat, he's probably one of the goofiest kids we've ever had in my career. But he's on the mat. He's out there.
He's focused.
Yeah, he's focused. He's ready to win.
How do you guys turn on that switch?
Yeah, how do you do that?
When you first get out there and you're in the gym and everybody's milling about, and when it's your time to get on the mat and go one-on-one with somebody, how do you turn that on?
So I would say that one big thing in like wrestling that I was talking to, I had the opportunity to go down to Springfield College and talk to my future wrestling coach for a while, and down for a 3-day camp, and he's a sports psychologist. He teaches that at Springfield. So one big thing we were talking about is like nerves. So everyone that I've ever talked to gets nervous before matches. Like even me, like when I'm going out there and wrestling a kid that I know I'm gonna go out there and dominate and I'm gonna be like do fine, I'm still nervous. I'm still like thinking about all the bad things that could happen. Like what if I get upset? What happens if this? What happens if that? But one thing I would think is like once I get on the mat and I start shaking hands, like that initial like collar tie, a hard slap is like it's a wake up call. It's like, all right, let's go, let's do this. And I think that's one like big thing.
Awesome.
How about you? How do you turn that light on?
I mean, more like off of what he said. Like when I step on the mat, I feel like all my nerves just like kind of like disappear, and that would help me like kind of get into the right mindset basically. Or sometimes it just be like because I like to listen to music before my matches, and that would help me like it would help my nerves calm down, and it would help me like focus more. So
what kind of music you listen to?
Honestly, it depend, but sometimes I could listen to some R&B. It really just depend on how I feel that day.
So Matt Quibby just called in. Yes, Matt, we're talking about you. And he said, I think Coach knows me. I was like, yeah, we just talked about you as you were talking. I was trying to multitask at the same time and not cause a fire with this board. You know what I mean? But yeah, Matt, they know you. They said you're all right. You got potential as a referee. No, I'm only kidding. But he's a good guy. Now I lost my freaking train of thought. I know what I was gonna tell Will. So I thought Will was gonna say his two brothers, Jack and Quinn, motivate him to tick him off to get on the mat and really go to town. But I could
that
see
sibling rivalry you're talking about.
Yours two brothers are awesome. I just thought, I know if it was me, it'd be my older brother. Oh, just picture his face, getting ready to go at it. As far as form goes and mechanics, what's one of the biggest things?
Most coaches, when they first teach wrestling to any kid, you'll hear head, heart, hips. So your head, heart, and hips have to all be in a straight line.
Yep.
And then you want to make sure you bend your knees, and then you can always want to make sure that you can touch the mat with your hand.
Okay.
So we call it a stance. So that's basically what the stance is, but it's head, heart, hips, and that's the easiest way to teach young kids and older kids how to be in the right position.
Now, as far as scoring, and again, I've seen it 1,000 times. Can you go over the scoring, how it's scored?
Yeah, so it's one of those things where you have to watch it to understand. If you watch enough wrestling matches, parents usually kind of figure it out after a little while. But you get 3 points for a takedown, so that's when you take someone from
And
their
you're
feet.
standing on two. You're like in a 2-point stance, getting ready to go at each other, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're standing straight up. If you take the person down to the mat and you get control, you get 3 points. If you get taken down and then you get out, you get 1 point. That's called an escape. If you get taken down and instead of getting out, you get on top of the person, you would call that a reversal. So that's 2 points. And then the main ones, we call it near. So like kind of like in WWE wrestling, you have like a 3 count. We kind of have something called back points or near fall points. So you get 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2 points for 2 seconds, 3 for 3, and then 4 for 4 for holding someone on their back.
So now, again, please, not him, but excuse my stupidity. So when you start
I'm
off,
being educated too in this.
right? So when you start off, you're face to face, correct?
Yes.
And then when do you go down? When do you go down? You know how they're on their knees sometimes?
Yeah, so that's after. So we have 3 periods.
Yep.
So after each period, one of the wrestlers gets to choose based off of a coin flip or a predetermined thing before the match starts, what position they want to be in. So they can go back to neutral, which is standing.
Yep.
Top, where they're on top of the guy. Bottom, where they're on the ground. Or they give it to the other guy. So they defer.
Now, what about you two guys? What do you prefer?
I'm more of a neutral person.
You just want to face them?
Yeah, I kind of like just like wrestling in neutral and like moving around a lot.
What about you, Will?
I'm also more of a neutral guy. I just like being on my feet. I'm quicker and more athletic than a lot of the guys. But usually in my matches, I'll go bottom for a second period just because it's like a quick escape. It gives me another point. It's just like the smarter thing to do is just go down and just escape. It's,
Okay.
So it's like any other sport. You have certain strategies.
Right.
Like you said, you guys prefer to be in neutral position.
Yeah.
And it's changed a lot the past 2 years because it used to be a takedown was only 2 points. Now they made it 3, so it's more advantageous to be aggressive on your feet and to try to get takedowns.
How long are the periods?
3. Sorry, there's 3 periods and there's 2 minutes each period.
2 minutes each period.
Wow, that's quicker than baseball and football.
Right?
That's pretty cool.
It's quick, but it's tiring.
I bet.
It'll get you 6 minutes.
A lot of mental strain too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially when it's like more than one match in a day. Like sometimes you'll have to like if you lose and you go into the constellation bracket, you'll have to wrestle like 3-4 matches in one day, and then you're still not even done.
How many matches?
Like 3-4 in one day, and you're still not even
So,
done, depending on where you lost.
for example, you just throw this out there.
Yeah.
You have a meet, let's say, against Attleboro.
Yeah.
So you may have more than one match in this meet. How's that set up? How's that determined?
So usually when you have more than one match, it's at a tournament, and there's like brackets. So if you lose, let's say you lose first round, you'll go into the first round of the consolation bracket, and you'll have to basically fight your way to.
So it's win or go home, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, there's no double elimination. You lose, you're done. Right?
No, there is double elimination.
Yeah.
Oh, there is double
Yeah,
elimination?
so if you lose in the championship bracket,
Yeah.
you go to the consolation bracket. If you lose there, then you're out.
Coach, how do the meets work? And, let's say, for example, it's Tuesday night, and you're going to be at home against Attleboro. You have a meet plan. How is that set up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 3 basic types of matches. So you either have a regular dual meet, which is just you and one other team, And
Okay.
your varsity wrestlers, which we have 14 varsity wrestlers on a team, can only wrestle one kid at the desired weight class.
Who picks the weight class?
No, so there's 14 determined weight classes.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we don't pick.
We
So,
went through that already.
I'm sorry. I'm trying, I swear to
so
God.
you have to have 14 kids that can make those weight classes. If you don't, you have to give up. You usually give up points if the other team does have it.
Oh, okay.
And then we have we call it tries or quads. So you'll have 3 or 4 teams all go to the same school, and then you'll wrestle each team's varsity lineup. So that's when you'll have 3
That's
or 4
when you
matches.
have the multiple matches.
And then the third one is a tournament, which is kind of like any tournament. You have 11 or 12 teams show up. They'll all put in their wrestlers that they have. They'll make brackets, and then once the brackets are made,
How's your team size? You,
Ours,
have, you have a lot of kids that are interested in wrestling?
we usually start off the season with like 60, and then we usually have between 45 to 55 kids on our team a year.
Wow.
Holy smokes, all those
Right.
kids wrestle?
Yeah, we have a lot of we have a lot of kids at town.
I mean, I knew there was interest in wrestling.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I've seen wrestling programs throughout the area at different schools, but I didn't think it was that many kids. That
Well,
was
like
interesting.
when I was in high school, we had like 10 to 12 kids on the team.
Right.
So we've grown it past few years with myself, Coach Cho, and Coach Vickery.
You got a state champion here for crying out loud. You
Got to promote
What?
that.
We
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
we actually had 3 in the past 3 years.
That's awesome. That's
That's great.
awesome. All right, we're going to take our second break. If you want to call in, 508-222-1320. The Taunton High School wrestlers are here. We'll be right back with them and more right after this. Hey, welcome back. You are listening and watching 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. 4deepsportstalk.com. I'll get it right sooner or later. Call in 508-222-1320. And just before we came back from break, Coach, you were talking about the girls. Did I say that? Is that right?
Yeah, so they just changed, or we just added in Massachusetts a girls wrestling tournament.
Yep.
State tournament. So now girls can actually have their own tournament where they can try to become state champ.
Nice.
Before it was mixed, so now they have a mixed bracket, so boys and girls can wrestle against each other, and then they have a bracket just for the girls.
Oh, wow.
And a big push is getting girls wrestling to grow more and more and more. And that's kind of
Yeah, I'm surprised you when during the break when we talked about that. I didn't think there was much interest girls wrestling, but apparently there is.
Yeah, so I've actually been doing some research on it lately. So the teams that focus on their girls get a big team. So Lowell High School has a great girls wrestling program. Springfield Central has a great girls wrestling program. Agawam, they actually have dedicated girls coaches as well, where they just coach the girls, and they just started. Usually Sundays, they've been doing girls-only tournaments. So girls will come into the bracket and they'll just wrestle each other.
So definitely the interest is growing.
Yes.
So before we forget, we got to make sure we give a shout out to your coach and staff, because you know you can't do it all by yourself. The rest of these guys, there's 40 athletes on this squad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you guys, let's try to get them as much as we can. If you don't mind, let's do your coaching staff first. Let's try to get as many guys, just so we can give them a shout out.
Yeah,
you know?
so we have Chris Vickery is is one of our assistant coaches, and then Joshua Choate is also another assistant coach.
Yeah.
And then we have Christopher Kaufman as our youth coach.
Nice. And what about the some of those athletes? I know, it's your Christmas. You're not going to get the present, but I thought it'd be nice to get them out there and get some names out there, and
Yeah, so we actually have, so in wrestling, there's different tournaments, but we also have, not only did we have a state champ, we also had another sectional champ, which is Ashton Vieira.
Okay.
He's our heavyweight champ, so they were practice partners this year.
That's why they're both champs.
Yeah,
Push each
exactly.
other.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, then we had Kingston Acosta.
Okay.
He was a 3-time Hockomock champ, so a Hockomock League is very, very tough, and we have a very hard tournament. Josh Millerick as well. Was he a Hock?
Yeah, this year he was.
He was a Hockomock champ. He was really big for us this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we even had we have one kid. He's our legacy. Brady Mandeville. All 3 of his older brothers have wrestled for us, so he's our first generational wrestler we've had on the team. So he's going to be a big addition to us for us next year. And then,
So it definitely sounds like you have a strong core coming back for your team.
yes,
Do you guys want to give a shout out to any of your teammates? That you ain't gonna remember. Well, I should have texted you to let you know you're gonna do the rundown of the. You would have the roster in front of you. Anybody you guys want to give a shout out to? Any of your teammates come to mind?
So earlier, Coach mentioned Ashton Vieira.
Yeah.
He was a big help. He's the heavyweight this year, so having a good practice partner in the room was great. His older brother, Anthony Vieira, I'd also like to shout out. He was been a great wrestler ever since 8th grade. He started in varsity. He's been pretty good, and he's battled a lot of things, but he's been really good. Great help in the room and stuff. And then one more, I'd like to thank Andrew Brown. He's going to be a captain next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was injured. This year he tore his something in his knee. ACL and ACL, MCL. So, but this year I hope he comes back and he does great. I think he'll have a great year.
Awesome. How about you, old man?
If anything, I'd like to say something about Cody. He was my practice partner last year, and he's the reason I was really good and I was able to improve. And then we have another, we have a freshman now. His name is Jordan, and he's going to be a really good wrestler. He stepped up for us big last year, knowing that he was underweight by 20 pounds, and he still tried his hardest. So I also want to thank him.
So, Buff, now that you're going on to college, and congratulations, what advice could you give the younger kids that you learned through your 4 years? If you could pass anything on, what comes to mind?
So one big thing I would have is just show up every day. This year, I think we had 3 or 4 kids with 100% attendance. We keep a track of attendance at practice, and I think it's a big thing to do is just show up every day, learn every day, show up to club practice, off-season practice. I try to go 3-4 times a week just to ensure I keep learning. I wrestled for 5 years, and every year I learn something new. Every day I learn something new, and I just keep drilling repetitive and just show up. That's the biggest thing is just showing up and practicing hard.
What's the biggest mechanical thing that you've noticed that you need to work on? Was it when you guys were standing, when you were, what do you call that, neutral, when you're standing between? Yeah. Was that something that you wanted to work on going into this year? Was this something particular that you wanted to work on?
I think the biggest thing I worked on is bottom this year. I think in previous years, it might have been that I was a little dehydrated, I was slower, I was weaker, but previous years I had trouble getting off of bottom. And if in college, there's a thing called riding time. So if you don't get off of bottom, if the other guy rides you for a whole minute, he gets a point. So it's a big emphasis on getting out of bottom. So I think that going into my senior year, I really want to work on getting out of bottom. And I think that I did a great job. I didn't really have any trouble on bottom. I just stand up, and I did fine. So that was the big thing I worked on this year.
What about conditioning? Is it more chest, legs?
So it's wrestling's your whole body. So you have to do full body workouts. And we feel like the best condition for wrestling is wrestling. So we just go to practice and wrestle each other. We do have a strength and conditioning coach. I actually want to shout him out as well.
Sure.
Cabrini Gonsalves. We live twice a week with our kids, and I think he keeps us physically active and ready. to
I
go.
was going to bring up about training. I mean,
I got lucky.
beat me to the punch.
I
but
got lucky.
No, it's good. I mean, like every sport has certain amount of training for
Yeah.
that particular sport. It's just not only conditioning, obviously. And like he said, getting out there on the mat every night and trying to learn something new is very imperative to getting better.
Yeah, Matt Clemmy said you guys did a great job. Matt, they know that. he's a good kid. So sometimes when we talk to football, baseball, I think it was more football, we talk about rules and us being officials. And
I
stuff.
can't educate you here.
No, I know that. But you know how they changed? Did you guys make the transition from the National High School Federation rules from the NCAA? Is that something they did in high school
Kind
wrestling?
of like
I'm
the,
just
the
curious
high
what
school
the
rules.
difference
I mean,
is
the
as a
college
fan.
rules are a little bit different,
Yeah.
but they've been slowly implementing some college rules into the sport.
Yeah,
So before, we have a wrestling circle.
yeah,
So before in the wrestling circle, you had to have two hands in from one person or one hand in. It was like very complicated. While in college, if you have your hand just over the circle, you're in. So they've slowly gotten into that mindset of as long as you have a body part in the circle, you're in. So that's changed. The 3-point takedown, I think that was both at the same. No, I think college might have did it first, and then we did it, and then high school did it secondly.
I know, it's like Dom said, transition from NCAA rules to federation rules in football. We practically did almost a whole show on that.
yeah. It was more like
And
safety, you know.
it was very strict on safety. And what's the safety rules as far as wrestling goes?
Yeah.
The earpieces that guys wear, you see it all the time. You see it in the Olympics. Those are mandatory.
Yes.
Okay.
So you don't. So in the Olympics, you actually don't have to wear it. So there's two different styles. There's a bunch of different styles of wrestling, but there's two main styles of wrestling. In high school, we wrestle folk style, and then in the Olympics, they wrestle freestyle. So they have to learn kind of a different rule set when they wrestle freestyle. And like one of those things is you don't have to wear headgear for freestyle wrestling. You
Right.
do
But
have-
in high school,
in high school, yes,
headgear is mandatory.
yes.
Yeah, I just thought of that roundabout question about, the high school stuff. I don't know if it changed in the last couple of years like it did with football and baseball to a point too. I know how it affected your sport.
Yeah, and they it used to be you couldn't have long hair, but
Really?
yeah, but because of the growth of girls wrestling, they had to change that rule up because all girls have long hair, and they didn't want to make any girls not want to wrestle.
They'd be pulling each other by the ponytails,
They usually put it up.
right? So how many guys are you losing?
This year, like on our team,
Yeah.
I think we lost like 10 wrestlers, 10 senior wrestlers. 7 of them were varsity.
Is that a normal transition through the years though? 10 as
We usually have like 5.
oh, this is big.
Yes, it's a big group for us.
So now younger guys like this gentleman here has to
Go to Burger
step
King.
up.
Go to
Yeah.
Burger King.
Go to
Start eating
bed,
some
have a few
burgers.
more, have a few more whoppers, put some more weight on.
Oh wow. I'm amazed how you guys keep your weight up and stuff like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. The lower weight classes, some of them have issues gaining the weight, and then the upper weight classes have issues keeping it down.
Right? It's crazy. So what was the big adjustment you had to make when you first took a position at the varsity level of high school? What was the biggest thing you learned?
There's a lot. So
Biggest things that come to mind.
You learn a lot. I think it's really understanding the kids and what they want and what they want to get out of it. Because each wrestler is different. Every kid is different. So if you don't really understand why they're wrestling in the first place or have a really good relationship with them, it's kind of hard for them to kind of listen to you and go based off of your advice what they should and shouldn't do.
Right. I mean, like I mentioned before, there's a certain mindset to
Yeah.
an individual sport, and especially with wrestling, where the sport there is a certain amount of aggression to it, and I think that's good as far as like discipline with kids. I mean, not every kid's going to be perfect. Obviously, you're going to have kids in school with learning issues and social issues in school, making that transition, right? Like we talked about before, from 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, going into high school. It's a bigger building. Everything's different. I think, obviously, there's a certain amount of aggression to the sport.
Oh yeah.
How do you control that as far as with kids? I mean, if you get a kid who, I want to be a wrestler, but I got in trouble last night. I'm not going to listen to anybody. How do you manage that with kids?
That's
So
a great
it's
question.
wrestling is we might call ourselves sometimes the bad news bears because we have so many different personalities, so many different kids in the team. But we try to emphasize to the kids like wrestling is your safe space. So this is where you get whatever is going on throughout the day, whatever's going on throughout your life. This is where you come and relax and be with your team, and be with your friends. So we kind of emphasize the whole point of it's a family. So we are a family. We do bully each other at practice, but outside of practice,
Yeah, but it's more goofing around, though. It's more just having fun goofing around. It ain't like you're physical, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take our last break. If you want to call in, 508-222-1320. The Taunton Wrestlers are here. We'll be back with them and more right after this. Hey, welcome back as we finish up this hour in 4 Deep Sports Talk. We have the Taunton Wrestlers in studio. Again, you can call in 508-222-1320. Jim Sylvia, I'm Dominic Damiano. Coach, do we have, what do we got for like fundraisers going on? Do you guys do that? And can we
we usually do a fundraiser during the season. That's usually, we try to get the kids to get donations. A big thing that we try to do is get kids gear. We try to get, you got to get something that says Taunton Wrestling on it. So that's the kind of the focus of all of our fundraising.
And now who do you guys go through? Is there a certain distributor you go to? You want to give them a shout out? Is there someone?
Yeah, we go through Snap Rays.
Okay.
But we've also used Goat Athletics in the past as well.
They're pretty consistent as far as helping you guys out.
Yeah.
What type of fundraisers do you?
Yeah.
It's just a donation. So kids get donations.
Oh, you guys don't like wash cars or nothing like that?
No.
Puffer's like, I ain't standing outside washing someone's car. You out of your mind?
I don't think anyone wants me to wash their car.
You can run the hose. You're a senior guy. Have the big guys move the. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that either.
What kind of support you get from parents? I mean, as far as like attending meets and stuff. I know some sports, because of the time the sports are played, you don't get a lot of, like baseball games. You don't get a lot of parents there for most part. Well, obviously, being a sport being done in a gym, probably more convenient for parents to attend something like that.
It kind of depends. So just our school demographic, we get some parents that they show up to every single meet, and then we get some parents that never show up at all.
Right.
So we do get we've gotten, our team is so big that we do have a lot of parental support. So big shout out to the parents that we have now, because they do support us and they do run like
and obviously the athletic program and the administration of school, you get support from there.
Yeah.
All right, Matt Quimby won't stop talking to me over here. He's like, "Oh, you're doing such a good job talking to these guys." I'm like,
"Well, he's on the phone. He should call in."
He should call in. I'm like, "Dude, stop messaging me, please. I'm trying to talk to these guys. They drove all the way from Taunton. It's like they had to use their passport to get through Attleboro."
Yeah, Attleboro's actually getting a wrestling team this year. So
oh, they are?
Yeah, at the high school finally.
So that leads to my next question. What advice could you give this new wrestling coach, if anything? What could you learn from that? What could you pass on to this guy?
One, get your kids invested.
Yeah.
Two, get them gear. I want all my kids, when they walk around the school, they're a wrestler because they have either a wrestling shirt, wrestling jacket,
Awesome.
wrestling hoodie, something to kind of promote the sport.
And thank you for the shirts, by the way, guys. We appreciate it. No, honest to God, we appreciate it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then three, make it fun. Make practice fun somehow, some way. Once they get to the fact that they know it's fun, then they'll kind of get a little bit more invested in the sport.
How do you corral, I'm trying to say this in a lighter way, 40 guys, and girls too, correct?
Yeah.
How do you guys do that with just three coaches? That's a lot of kids.
We just have it's a system. We just have a system. We know how to talk to the kids. We're nice and loud, and we make sure that we kind of split them up between us as much best as we can.
So a lot of team building with only 3 coaches and 40-something kids, like Don just said. It's a lot. So you got to rely on some of the older kids to bring along the younger kids, and that's good team building, right there.
Yeah, it is. I'm just impressed. I mean, all those kids. How now, strategy wise, when Jimmy mentioned about strategy and stuff, do you guys look? At least, you probably do, but I'll ask you anyway. Look at a lot of film on your opponents and stuff. Is that a big thing?
It kind of all depends. We know who's good on another team and who's not.
Yeah.
Depending on the opponents. Usually, if it's like a league opponent, so someone that we've seen or we usually see every single year, we either look at film from last year, or we just kind of base our strategy on do what you do, wrestle your match, and make sure that they can't wrestle theirs.
Okay. Now, again, congrats. And I know we're going to give a big shout out because I know WARA wants to make sure we give a shout out to you for winning the state title. How much did you change? Like when you look at an opponent, how much do you, and you see him the following year, or maybe you see him in the playoffs, how much do you change your critique approaching that opponent?
So I think a big thing on my game is, like, I'm a very good adaptive wrestler, so I think I do well scoring off of other people's mistakes.
Right.
I think I'm a very good defensive wrestler mostly. I'm not a very offensive wrestler, so especially in the state finals, I knew I was wrestling this kid Quinn. I'm a good friend to Quinn. We wrestle in off season all the time, so we were pretty close, like practice partners in the off season and stuff. So it kind of sucked that we ended up in the state finals, but it was also pretty cool at the same time. If you know anything about Quinn, he's a big, jacked, strong guy, so he's gonna try to muscle you around, throw you around, and he's pretty good at it too. So he'll get you a lot of the times. So a big thing on me is just don't get thrown, don't get muscled around, and just score off of his mistakes. And I think that's what I did, and I think it ended up pretty well from my part.
Oh, absolutely. You won the whole thing. Absolutely. I was just curious. I mean, I know there's some type of strategy, and you guys elaborated a lot of it on me. You appreciate you doing that, because I know I learned a heck of a lot of stuff today.
This is very educational.
Oh, my God. It's awesome.
As far as you're saying clubs, that's kind of like AAU type stuff. I know, like baseball, everywhere you go, there's an AAU program.
Yeah.
Football, you know, lower levels, you have Pop Warner programs. Every town has one. Is there a big like youth program for wrestling in the area?
So now there is more now. More clubs are popping up, but there is a big difference between what you'd call AAU in basketball and then the club system in wrestling, because the club system is more practice based. The whole point is to come to practice 2 to 3 times a week. More learning, and then you'll do some tournaments every once in a while. But it's mostly you go to practice, and that's the main point. And that's the main focus, is to get better at the sport, so that when your season comes, there's youth wrestling and there's middle school wrestling that you can actually win a state title as well for.
And where were the finals when he won the state title? What school was that at? That tournament?
This year it was at
North Andover. Right?
North Andover.
Yep.
Okay. And how many guys actually? Not all 40 guys went, correct? In the playoffs?
No. So I think we had like 10 guys make it. So there's
Nice.
there's 4 main tournaments that kids go through.
Yep.
So they go through the sectional tournament, which is usually based on division and area in the state you live in. So like we're Division 1 South. And then after that, there's actually the Division 1 state tournament, which is what Will won. He was a Division 1 state champ this year. Then we have an all-state tournament, which is Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. Will is actually an all-state finalist as well. He hasn't brought that up yet, but that is a big accomplishment.
He's
to be
modest.
all-state finalist.
Oh my God, yeah. Very quiet kid.
So that I think sometimes that's actually better than a state title. Sometimes to be an all-state finalist because that's even harder to get to because then you have every single wrestler in the state.
So it's like
vying
any
for
other
that.
sport. You have to qualify and
Yeah.
win a certain number of matches. And
And then
up.
we actually do have a New England tournament as well, and we'll actually place at New England's this year.
Nice.
He's our highest place ever at New England's for Taunton
Ah.
High.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Dom. I don't want to wrestle.
That's why I'm always away from him when we
I
get
don't-
ready for the ball field. I'm like, he's way over there.
I'm a little guy. I might get hurt.
Yes, you are. Well, so what did you finish overall in New England?
I got 5th at New England this year.
Out of how many?
It's a lot. So every state has a certain allotment.
I'm
of
just
kids.
curious. I mean, I don't know if
Um,
you knew a number. I'm sorry.
I want to say it's probably like 18 to 19 kids that go to New England, but that's from every state.
Yeah,
Um,
and they're the best.
yeah.
Wow, and good for you. The 5th out of that's pretty cool. That is really cool.
After college, you have any aspirations, Olympics or anything like that?
So I'm going to Springfield to study law. I want to be a lawyer, but as long as like the wrestling career, I do have interest in like MMA, like kind of stuff. I do like that. I think it could be fun. Obviously, getting punched in the face isn't fun, but,
Right, exactly.
but I think like as long as I'm doing the punching, I think I'll like
Right.
it. So maybe that after wrestling.
Now, I want to ask you before we get up there, are you looking to move up in weight? Do you want to stay where you're at? What's your goal?
Honestly, I'm trying to see if I can make 106 pounds again, but honestly, it's 50-50. But if I don't, I'm gonna end up going up to 113 pounds.
Wow. Okay. Oh, you have to go, or do you want to?
So I might have to go because I might not be able to make that weight.
Okay. All right. I didn't know. I just thought.
Yeah, we try to keep. So again, we do the weight certifications at the beginning of the season. So
Yeah.
we see how far away they are. We want to make sure it's safe as possible. We don't want
Yeah.
anyone to
Exactly.
try to.
When is the season?
Our season starts the week after Thanksgiving, so that Monday
it's a
after
winter
Thanksgiving.
sport.
Yeah, it's a winter sport.
Yeah. Oh wow. I forgot about it. It's a winter sport. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I thought it was, but I wanted to be sure.
And when's tryouts?
We don't. There is no real tryouts. We make sure everyone makes a team that can survive the first week of practice.
Right. Then you know. Then you
Then,
can.
then we
weed
do.
them out.
Then we do weekly wrestle offs. So every week.
How do you not survive the first week of practice?
Yeah. No kidding. I can just imagine.
It's like drill camp.
Yeah.
Like the
probably.
army.
Well, kind of. Yeah, we have a lot of kids that they just they'll throw up and don't want to be there anymore. They'll be so tired at the end of the practice they don't want to show up anymore. Some kids just aren't mentally tough enough. So some teams call it Hell Week.
Yeah, but you're being more than fair. You give them a chance to try. You're just showing them what it takes to be a wrestler.
It's like any other sport.
Yeah.
I mean, football, they're out there now, and either you're going to sink or swim, you're going to make it or not.
Right.
You know.
I didn't think it'd be. I mean, if it was that bad, they'd be reporting you. You know what I mean? For child abuse or something like that.
Yeah.
Still calling it Hell Week.
Yeah, that's a figure.
Still,
That's a figure of
Yeah,
speech.
we got rid of that a few years ago, so we don't call it Hell Week anymore.
Well, Coach, I know WARA, especially you, they want to congratulate you on a great season, your program.
Thank you.
For us at 4D Sports Talk, congratulations, Will. Coach, great job. You finished what were you, 19-7?
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
And how did you place in the Hawk?
We were second in the Hawk. We were second in our section this year.
That's awesome. Congratulations to that. And, we wish you guys maybe next year we'll get you back on. We'll have a couple more state champions, and Will can call in from college and say, I knew that kid when he was nothing. For Jim Sylvia, I'm Dominic Damiano. We hope you enjoyed this hour of 4 Deep Sports Talk. We had the privilege of highlighting the Taunton High School wrestling team. We will catch you next time. Everyone have a fantastic weekend.